Good morning, everyone. This is Michelle with the Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance. I am the Supply Chain Development Manager at the Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance, and I help users with the Connex Oklahoma platform that we have for the state of Oklahoma. Thank you all for joining us on this call this afternoon to talk about the newly upgraded Connex Oklahoma platform and how it ties back into the Connex National Marketplace as well. To get started, we are going to just talk about a few housekeeping items. There is a Q&A feature on your Zoom screen, so please utilize that if you have any questions that you would like answered. Just because it can be difficult for me to see those while I'm sharing my screen, we may save those questions for the end, but we will get them answered for you. This video is being recorded and it will be shared with everyone after the call. We are really excited to show you what we have for you here today. We've been working very closely with our developers to upgrade this system and the user interface to best meet the needs of our manufacturing community. This widely anticipated platform upgrade offers really a complete rework to the Connex Oklahoma platform for those of you who are current users of our legacy platform. And so we are going to be doing some additional trainings coming up in the next couple of weeks and months that go a little more into detail on some of the different modules we have. Today is going to be kind of an overview of the system as we have it right now, but we'll dive later trainings a little more into the supply chain module, the R&D module that's coming, and the Exchange Center module as well. And today we're just going to look kind of briefly at those areas so you can get an idea of how those look and where to find those features that you've used in the past in the system as well. As with any system redesign and software update, we expect to see a few bumps along the way. And so we ask that you bear with us through any of those issues and expect to see just a couple of things, but report anything that you do see. We'll see an option in the system for where you can report any system bugs that you might come across, or if something's not searching correctly or loading correctly. We'd love to have you report that so we can get it working properly. For anyone who is not familiar with the Connex Oklahoma platform, I would like to just provide some background information on the system. So as some of you may know, that Connex Oklahoma is a web-based supply chain database, and I also really like to refer to it as a marketplace because it's not a static tool that we use. It really is a marketplace functionality that you can use to connect with other manufacturers as suppliers for both you, or if you want to serve as a supplier for them all across the state of Oklahoma. And there is also a national functionality to it. We launched this program rollout just about a year ago in Oklahoma. Actually, we're a couple weeks out from its initial launch. It was an existing service that was being used in a few other states, and we were the third state to come on board and offer the Connex Oklahoma system to our manufacturers. That it is provided free to Oklahoma manufacturers to use, and that's through a partnership between the Oklahoma Department of Commerce and the Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance. And that free access is for the in-state use only, but we do have a promo code we'll talk about a little bit later to get some of that national functionality as well. When we launched last year, we preloaded about 4,000, just under 4,000 manufacturer profile records into the system, just to make sure that it was user ready, so that whenever our first early adopters were using the system, they would be able to find what they were looking for just off of maybe company name and address and NAICS code. But the functionality does really allow them to put in detailed information about what it is that they work on, what materials they use, upload a capability statement, and all of that information that helps them be found within the platform. Since then, we've had about 400 companies who have claimed their profile and begun uploading that information, such as equipment and capabilities, within the state of Oklahoma. That national functionality we talked about is Connex Oklahoma is part of the Connex Marketplace. And that was built out starting about 10 years ago with NAM, the National Association of Manufacturers. And it has close to 140,000 profile records in that system. So that you, if you're not finding what you're looking for within the state of Oklahoma, or you'd like to access those opportunities outside of the state of Oklahoma, that you can subscribe to that level of service. That functionality functionality, though, does come with a $500, typically is the cost a year fee to subscribe to that. Our developers, who we've worked really closely on for this launch, are offering right now free access to that for 1 full year. If you don't already have access, they have provided us with a code that you can use whenever you sign up. I'm going to go ahead right now and just paste that into the chat for everyone, so that if you have not signed up for it, you can sign up using that promo code, or I'll show you how, if you have an existing account and you don't have national access, you can use that to subscribe to that national access free for a year. So I've just sent that code in the chat. It is CMFY 2022. Okay. And that should be good through the end of May, I believe. And it's Connex Marketplace fiscal year 22 Oklahoma, I think is what that stands for. If you had trouble understanding me, just list letters. Okay, so let's get started. I've been sharing my screen. If for any reason you are not seeing my screen, please do let me know. But I'm starting on our Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance webpage. And that is because, as we do have a new software update to this system, we have heard from a number of our existing manufacturers that their bookmarked URLs weren't working to get over there. So our developers are aware of that and are working to get that fixed. But if you have not been able to access it, you can access the new Connex Oklahoma platform directly from our website. So it's okalliance.com. I'll send that in the chat as well, real quick for everyone. And then on the very top right-hand corner is Connex Oklahoma. If you click that, it will take you to our Connex page, where you can learn a little more information and see all of our older tutorials, but then also register for an account or click to access Connex if you already have an existing Connex account. To start this off, we're going to look at what the registration looks like for the new platform. So if you click to register for an account, it should take you to this Connex Marketplace page, where it asks you to put in some information about your user. It does, you'll notice as you begin typing an email address, it does try to verify that that is an existing and available email address. So it's not being used by anyone else in the system already. So you'll get this notification that yes, it's an available email address for you to use. You can put in a password to use in the system, and then it will ask you to agree to the terms and conditions and the privacy policy. So you can click to open those and review them in another tab. For this demonstration, I'm just going to go ahead and click, and you can click to create an account. After you click that create account section, you will receive this notification that lets you know that they've sent an email to that email address you used, and you will need to verify that that email address is the correct email address you'd like to use and that you are the owner of it. And this is just one of the many new security features that they have implemented in this updated and upgraded Connex Marketplace system for Connex Oklahoma. After you get that, you should receive an email very quickly. On any of my test runs, I've received one in just under 2 minutes that says, hey, you have just registered for an account. We would like you to verify your email address. So if you click that button in your email, and if you're not finding that, we have heard sometimes this has been going to spam for a lot of our users. So check your spam folder if you're not seeing it within, the first 10 minutes after you did apply for it and register. When you click this link, it will open another page that says your email address is verified, and you can go ahead and click the button to log in, which will take you back to the Connex login page. So that's from our homepage on our OK Alliance website. That's this click here to access Connex button. We'll also open that page for you that login button is going to take you to. You can see some information about the partnership that put Connex together, as well as an email address that you can contact our staff at if you have any questions, or if you would like someone to help provide a demonstration or walk you through it in a little more detail. So with this email address that we just set up and the password, I'm going to go ahead and log in. Just going to make sure that it's recognizing my password. Whenever you first log into the system, it will take you through, if this is a new user, through the Connex Marketplace registration wizard. So it's just a couple of steps to gain some information about your organization. So it's a fast and easy, and they just would like a little bit of information is what this says. We're going to click next, and you'll see that there are a couple of options here to sign up for your Connex profile. And so we're going to proceed with manufacturer today in this demonstration, but there is an option to utilize the research functionality. And that would be signing up as a researcher. So if you're part of an academic organization or a research organization, this is the one you'd want to use. And that is where we've partnered with OCAST, the Oklahoma Center for the Advancement of Science and Technology, to help build this out. We are going to start announcing this additional functionality after we load some more data over into the new system later this month. And then this service provider section right here is coming soon. We've heard from a lot of manufacturers that yes, Connex is a great way for manufacturers to connect with each other as suppliers all across the state and all across the nation, but sometimes they would like a place they can go and search for those service providers. So the 3PL and logistics companies, software companies, and others that are serving the manufacturing industry. We've been working really closely with our developers on how to build that out correctly, because we want to make sure that it is used in a way that best supports manufacturers without you all feeling like you are going to be spammed by a lot of sales calls from the system, or your information is not going to be safe in the platform. So that's why that's taken a little bit longer for us to add to the platform. As I said, we're going to just proceed with manufacturer. So I'm clicking to select that section, and I'm going to move next. It has some example information whenever you move through, but we're going to just begin by typing a company name in here. As you start typing an address, it will give you the option to choose from a drop-down. But if you're not seeing, perhaps you are in a business park and your address is a little further back, it will allow you to just type the address parts, and you can click that button. You also have the option to select one of these organizations that it thinks may be an option. You don't have to, you can just leave a name at the top. It is optional to provide a phone number. It would really like you to add a website and your DUNS registration number. If you do not have those available, or perhaps you don't have a website, you can click I don't have a website, or I'll provide this later, and that will make this next button available for you to proceed through the system. Again, on this next page, it's asking for your NAICS codes, what industries you have, and any SBA programs that your company is a part of. And you don't have to provide this information to move forward, but I do really advise that you include that information, because it does start filling out your profile. And these are pretty easy to use. If you just start typing some numbers of a NAICS code, it will start giving you options you can choose from. I believe you can also start just typing words like fabric, and it'll give you all of the different options to choose from for your profile as well. Industries works a very similar way. There's a drop-down list you can choose from, and then SBA programs as well. I'm going to go ahead and click next. And this is where it will give you the option to utilize that national promo code. For this, if you wanted to use that, I would just type in CMFY 2022 OK, and you'll see that it does check to make sure that that promo code is a verified active promo code. Adding a letter, you can see that that promo is invalid, but this one is correct. And that will allow you to proceed through the system with that national access. I'm going to go ahead and back out of that for now, because I do want to continue to use this account for demonstration purposes in the future. So for now, I'm just going to click sponsored access, and this is free limited access sponsored by the Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance. That is that access that is just within the state of Oklahoma that we talked about a little bit already. I'm going to go ahead and click register for that. to move forward. I'm actually not going to do that because I do want to keep this open for demonstrations, but I'm going to pull up our demo account now for everyone to see. So after that registration button clicks, then you'll receive a notification that your company has been registered. I'll receive a notification that you've applied, and I'll be able to verify that your company is in fact a manufacturer in the state of Oklahoma, so that you can have access to the system. We do see currently a lot of non-manufacturers try to access the system, and so we do check every single request that we get to make sure that they are a verified manufacturer within the state. Once you're approved, you will receive a notification that you have been approved for an account and can log in. And this is what the new Connex Oklahoma system looks like. So hoping that everyone is able to see my screen. This is our Prime 1 demo account for the Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance that we use for demonstration. And you will see through the system, especially if you have national access, quite a few Prime 1 demo accounts, because many of the states that have onboarded a platform like this through Connex Marketplace in their state do have Prime 1 demonstration accounts. On this page, you'll notice the new layout. So our developers worked really hard to utilize some design standards that are there to make the interface very easy to navigate and find all of the information you need from kind of your own dashboard screen. So you can see in the top right corner is your email address for your user account. And then this is the organization profile. You are able to upload your logo now, which is something that we didn't have access to do in the legacy platform. You can even upload a banner to this if you'd like. Add, the contact email you want, and then access all of the different features of Connex Oklahoma through the panel on the left side of your screen. This is what your profile looks like. We're just going to scroll through it a little bit, and then we're going to look at how to edit it. So it does navigate through products and services, manufacturing capabilities, contacts, and the gallery. And then you are able to edit any of those with this edit profile button. Before we do that, I want to show you how you can add additional users to your profile. So if you click this profile access button, this will show you any of the users that have access to your account. So for this Prime 1 demo account, you can see that there are 3 different users, and these are the different roles and permissions they have. If you have a new employee that you would like to add to the account, or if you would like to add someone outside of your organization to help assist you with your account, you would click this invitation section to add new users to it. This is one thing that is new about the system. So if I've worked with you before, you'll know that I've been able to edit some additional information on your profile or upload capability statements on your behalf. And we can still do that just after this step if that's something you're interested in. This is part of our good cyber hygiene best practices, and that Connex Marketplace and Connex Oklahoma developers have really worked to build in these security enhancements on this new architecture that they've designed to really continue to make sure your data is encrypted and no one can access it but you. No outsider from your organization can see any of your confidential information without your express permission. So you do have to add anyone else to get that. Because as we're seeing, there is a very strong need for those cybersecurity enhancements and to make sure that it is secure for your business to utilize tools like this. So for the invitations, you can add an email address directly right here. I'm just going to put in our info at OK Alliance email address right now. And then you can start assigning roles to that user with this drop down. If you don't know what role you would like to assign, I do want to highlight this little eye that's right next to roles. If you click on that little eye, it'll open up this information page that shows you all of the different permissions and what they mean. So you know that if you want someone to be able to access everything in the system, you can mark them as an administrator, but maybe if you want to just have them be able to manage the supply chain functionality and the search functionality, you could make them the supply chain manager. And these can stack on top of each other as well. So I'm going to navigate back. Well, I'm going to show you that if I were to click Profile Editor and Supply Chain Manager, then this blue Send Invitation button becomes available. And you can click to send an invitation to that email address. It will generate an email and send it directly to them. And you'll see that that is waiting in the invitation section of this Profile Access tab. Once they've accepted it, this invitation will move over to the Users tab, and you can add or change permissions at any time here. If you decide that you've sent that and you no longer want that user to have access before they've accepted it, you can also revoke the invite right there in the system. From here, we are going to look just a little bit at the Update and Edit Profile section. So if you click this Edit Profile tab, it will open up the ability for you to edit all of those different sections we scrolled through when we first saw your company profile or a Prime One demo company profile. So your company name, address, and that works in a very similar way to all of the other fillable boxes we've seen. Description, you can get 5,000 characters in, and you can expand this down to see a little more information in there. We have seen a lot of companies, especially those smaller ones, do not always have a website. And so you are welcome to now link directly to your Facebook or LinkedIn, Twitter, any of that information. This is where you can add your DUNS number and upload your logo and your header image. On the next tab, this is where you can mark any industry that you work in with checkboxes. And as you scroll down, this is where you highlight any of those SBA programs. If you didn't do it while you were registering for your account, this is where I'd recommend you add them. And I do want to advocate for how important that is for your profile. We often have buyers that contact us and are trying to find a metal fabrication shop in Oklahoma that meets some of these SBA set-aside requirements for veteran-owned small business or women-owned small business. So if you do qualify for any of those, we do ask you to please add those to your profile so that you can be found easily within the system. As we move on, this is where you can add your NAICS codes, SIC codes, and again, it works in a very similar way. So if you, I don't know why I'm thinking of just fabric today, but if you start typing any information, it will bring up options for you to select for your company. And then you can also mark what your primary SIC code is if you're interested in that. If you make any changes to this page, you can just click Save there at the bottom to save them on your profile. I also want to highlight on the very next tab is the Contacts tab. So you can add any contacts to it by just entering their first and last name, title, email, phone number. You'll see that not all of this information is required. The first and last name is required, and then it'll have that option to save. And then there's this little hidden box down at the bottom. And if I hover over that I, it'll tell you what that means, which is that hidden contacts can still be used within the Connex Oklahoma platform, and they will still receive emails, but that contact information will not be available for other users who are trying to access your profile. And so this is good for someone that maybe doesn't want to receive those calls if you want to have a single point of contact on your profile, but they still want to receive notifications throughout the platform. Whenever there's a new opportunity available in the Exchange Center or some new surplus materials as well, they'll still receive it if they're added as a contact to your profile. I'm going to show you that this user, Jessica Mugg, who is a staff member here at the Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance, does have that hidden box checked on her profile, and we can edit any information in here if we would like. And turn that off or on. I'm gonna go ahead and click save. You'll see that because she does have that, she's got this little mask next to her name to show you that that is a hidden contact. We're gonna move over to the products side, and you can select any of these products that are over on the left side of the screen. You can also add products very easily by typing in the product name and the description. The description is optional if you have a UPC or if you'd like to upload any pictures or diagrams of your products, or we know a lot of companies have a gallery of products they create, and so this is a great way to add that as well. I'm going to show you that this is one we have uploaded into our demo account for plastic gears. And we've uploaded a PNG image of them that someone would be able to see in the system or download to review. And you can add really as many products as you would like to your profile. The next tab is for projects, and if you click that and you're registered as a manufacturer, you will see that that is a locked R&D profile section, and that's because it is part of that research and development area. And we do want that functionality to be used either by researchers or companies that are doing R&D within their facility. So you can actually unlock this functionality as a manufacturer if that's something that you're interested in using within your organization. I'm not going to do that right now in our demo account, but we will be looking at that more as we start announcing that R&D functionality and how to use it in the next couple of weeks. The next tab is for services. There are a few different services that are auto check boxes that you can click, but then you can also add any service, just as we saw with the products tab. On this tab, you can drop down to change anything that you've added. So we've added 2 different services in here with a description. You can add an attachment. I know that there's some companies that have used Connex Oklahoma that have a full 1-pager over each of the different services that they offer within their organization. So you do have the ability to add that really detailed information into your profile if you'd like to. And again, you can add numerous amounts of services or products to your page. The next tab is capabilities, and you can expand this whole section, but we're just going to drop down one at a time to keep the screen a little limited. You can add any number of processes as well. And this works a little differently than it did if you're familiar with the previous Connex Oklahoma platform. So as you add processes, again, it is going to work a lot like any of the drop-down boxes we've seen so far. So if you type in mill, it's going to bring up all of these options. And the further you get into the information, it will narrow down those different options for you of something you work on. And you can add as many of those as you want. And if someone's searching in the system, they will be able to identify your company based off of that process. Our next one is going to be for equipment. Again, very similar thing where you can type to find certain pieces of equipment. You can add a description, brand name, model, any custom attributes to it as well. So we have added a couple of specific things to ours, such as 3D printing equipment and molding presses. The next one is for materials. On this one, you do have to add a new material to it. I'm going to add felt before it will, and click add before it gives you this option to mark whether or not you use, produce, or distribute this item. You can mark multiple of these if you would like to. I'm not going to save that, so that's not going to show up on the profile, but you can add as many different materials as you like. I know we've had certain requests from buyers for companies that work with copper or aluminum or things like that that you can find through that materials section. We are limiting the certification information a little bit in this new platform because it is so easy to just be off by a couple numbers and end up with a lot of different filters for it. So it does have a drop down, but we do have a lot more options for you to choose from in certifications. There's also outside of the type, you can add additional information. So if I were to select ISO, I could add what year it is or things like that. And you can actually upload a verification document showing that you have that certification. It will display on the page with, you can add the effective dates, the expiration date. You don't have to add that information if you don't want to. And we'll look in a moment at what that looks like on the profile. Under capability statements, you can add capability statements. And if you have worked with me at all before for your Connex Oklahoma profile, we very strongly advocate for you to upload a capability statement to the profile. We see companies do just that 1-page PDF document or 2-page document over what their company offers, but sometimes we even see companies add one for each of their service areas, or perhaps their entire pitch deck, as long as it's in a PDF form and anything someone searches through that search bar will navigate through that PDF and bring up that your company in search results. So it's a great way to really promote your business for the work that you do, the materials you work with, the customers you've had. If it's not one of those predefined boxes or drop-down options in the list other than on your PDF document, you can stand out for those unique qualities and capabilities that your company has. For our capability statement, if you're ever looking for it on our profile, you can find a fillable PDF capability statement. So I'm actually just going to click to download that. So you can see that that is a fillable PDF you can download and use if your company does not have an existing capability statement. Okay, and then also there is the employees and capacities section where you can just kind of mark to show the size of your business. These sections are not required, but they do help really paint a picture for what your business can offer and what kind of work they can do. Finally, we have the gallery section. This is brand new and I think a really exciting feature that will help tell the story of what your business offers. So this video section does use YouTube videos or Vimeo videos. You can just add a link and it'll add a box to your profile showing that video. And you can add photos as well. So we've uploaded a photo of the product we produce at our demo account, which is these gears. And you can see that directly on the profile. So we're going to go back to the profile and I'll scroll down and show you where you can find that capability statement, and you can download it on the front end by clicking this little blue button. You can see Jessica Mugg right here, but that's just because we can see her from our organization. I was looking at this profile from another organization because she is that hidden user. You would not be able to see her information on this page. And then the gallery. So videos will show up here, any images, and the user can click that to view it in a little bit larger of an image as well. Okay, so that is updating the profile, adding users to your account, so we are going to move on from there to the search functionality. So you can access search. Used to it was in the top right-hand corner. We've moved it over to the left corner. So you can access search right there, or in our gray menu on the left side of the screen, you can click to select search. And I do want to highlight that there are two options for search here. You can search through all organizations or through any of our Exchange Center postings using the search results right here. So we are just going to start with searching for a contract manufacturer. And I'm going to hit search right here. I do want to note that this is a pretty broad term, but if you are one of those power searchers that likes to use quotes in your queries or plus or minus symbols, you can click this little I right here next to search to find additional information on what the system will allow you to add to your query to help narrow it down. I usually keep my search pretty broad and then just utilize the filter options down the left side of the screen to help narrow my search down. So on this one, you can see that for contract manufacturer, it pulled back 785 results in Tulsa and 717 in Oklahoma City, and so on and so forth for 313 different cities. So I'm not going to expand that full list right now, but I will just click on Oklahoma City to apply that and shrink our list down some. So I'm going to click Oklahoma City and then apply. And that has reduced the number of results to just that 717. As I move down, I also want to look at someone with an ISO certification, and that narrowed us down to just these 9 options. And so maybe I also want to expand all the filters. You can search and filter down by equipment, processes, materials, different products that they do. So if they offer kitting services, or those SBA programs that we've talked about. So I'm going to also mark for a veteran-owned small business. And you'll see that that narrowed us down to just 2 options there that show up for contract manufacturer somewhere on the profile, and then also meet that ISO certification and the veteran-owned small business certification in Oklahoma City. So you can click any of these arrows to expand that profile a little bit more and see any of the information they have uploaded into the system, you'll see that this profile for Nico Industries has additional information on products, materials, services, and a capability statement. And you can click directly here to view their full profile. So you can see from their map directly where they are located, see that they work in aviation and aerospace, a little bit about them, just all of that information that we have already looked at on our profile. I will say in the new system, products and services are going to look pretty blank on any profile you go to for a little while. And that's just because that is an additional piece of functionality that's been added so that you can see all of that in a little more detail. So as manufacturers access their profiles and start adding these additional features, it'll start to fill it out a little bit more. But you can see this company works with all of these different materials, and they use these materials in manufacturing, who their contacts are. The gallery is also a new feature, so I'm excited to see manufacturers start utilizing that functionality as well. And you can see this company, pardon me, has 4 different capability statements they've uploaded. So you can open any of these and download that and just click the download to open it in a new tab to learn more about what services that company does offer and how to contact them. So I'm going to go back to our page from here. And I am going to say that at any time you can navigate back to your profile by clicking on My Organization in the top left-hand side, just so you are aware that you can access your profile that way at any time. But moving down this list, I'm going to click the Explore functionality next. And so I'm going to click to Explore Manufacturers. And this section will show you all of the manufacturers that have profile data for the state of Oklahoma, because this particular demo account that we're in does just have that state level access. If you had the national access and use that promo code for a free year, or if you signed up whenever we had free lifetime access last year, then it will allow you to see explore results all throughout the United States for those over 140,000 different profiles. In this section, there are, you can kind of sort through some of the different at-a-glance features that manufacturers have added to their profiles in the system. I am just going to use some of the filters on this left side to scroll through some of this information. So we'll narrow that list down to manufacturers that have added information to say they work in energy and that they do machining processes. And then we'll click on this top one for Southern Machine Works, and you can see it works just the same way that that search functionality does, but kind of on a broader, we didn't even start with the search term, we were just exploring manufacturers. So I'll click to view their full profile, and you can see their full description about what it is that their company does, that they, have that hub zone qualification. They work with machining processes, and this is the equipment they have. They also have uploaded certification documents, so you can click to download their certification documents and actually see that information for when it was certified and when that does expire for these different certifications in the system, and then see who the primary contact is that you could contact there as well. In this left-hand menu, in that Explore section, there's also the Research section, and we are just going to glaze over that today, just because that is some added functionality that will be coming in the next couple of weeks. As I've mentioned a couple of times, that is the section that we are building out with our Oklahoma Center for the Advancement of Science and Technology, OCAST. So from here, we're going to start with the Exchange Center. So if you have been a user of Connex Oklahoma in the past, I'm sure that you are familiar with the Exchange Center being broken up into 2 categories. That is the surplus and the needs section. In this new platform interface, it is going to all be in one section, and you can filter between the different postings that are in there using this types filter at the top. But right now we are still porting over some of the data from the previous system for any live postings that are in the system. If you have used it for any of our to respond to any of our opportunities in the past, you'll see that we have already added any of our NIST MEP supplier scouting opportunities. And that is the Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance is one of 51 manufacturing extension partnership centers across the United States and Puerto Rico. And we do share opportunities that we receive through that partnership from its supplier scouting program in the Connex Oklahoma platform to make it easy for our manufacturers to find and respond to those opportunities. So we see opportunities come through for difficult, hard to find items and items that are being reshored from all across the United States, and we post them directly here. Just as it is in all of the different features we've looked at today, you can learn more about any of these opportunities by clicking the little arrow button to expand and view more information about what that particular opportunity is. You can download the initial form request that we received of what that potential buyer is looking for, learn more about what it is that they need. And you can get just a real high level overview of it from the description, the quantity, any restrictions directly from that page. You can also respond directly in the platform to that opportunity. So we're going to walk through what that looks like real quickly, just responding to a request. This is the specific response form to the supplier scouting opportunity. So it will have a few more pieces of information that it wants to collect from you. It's a little bit simpler of a form on the responses to something another manufacturer has posted in the system, or if we are posting on the behalf of another buyer in the system as well. So you can click to respond on behalf of anyone in your organization. Because we do have Jessica Mugg added to our organization as a hidden contact, I'm only seeing my name in the drop down here. But if you had a certain project manager that you wanted to add in here that wasn't already a user, you could click to just add a new contact. For now, I'm just going to proceed as if I would be the one that is listed on here and I'm responding on behalf of. I'm going to click next in the system. It will ask you to fill out all of this information before it does allow that blue button to go next to respond. So I'm going to just fill out some test information so we can see what that looks like today. So you'll see once I filled out all of these boxes, I was able to see this blue button become blue and click next. This section that does allow you to review your response. So I'm saying that our manufacturer Prime One Demo does produce this exact item, and they also produce a similar item. These are our product lines, and this is my contact information, and I can agree and respond to that particular listing. So after I've responded to the listing, you'll see that it does add a little mark on the overall Exchange Center to show that I have responded there. And you'll see I've responded to this listing down here as well. And if I hover up there, it tells me the date. But I can also find all of my responses by clicking this My Responses tab on the top of the screen. So you can see I've responded to these two different listings, and this is what I said. This is how I responded to it in case I was ever looking back to see, in Q1, how many different responses did I make to opportunities within the Connex Exchange Center. Any company can also post a listing in here as well. So if you have surplus equipment, or if you are searching for someone that works with sheet metal fabrication or things like that, you can just click add listing right here. And this new system does bring up kind of a wizard functionality that steps you through each part of the process. So we are going to walk through a little bit of that real quickly. I don't think we're going to go as far as actually posting it today, but we'll dive a little deeper into that whenever we do some more detailed trainings on each of these modules at a later date. So right now I'm going to go ahead and mark that we are looking for a need. So we are maybe going to do an RFQ, that's a request for a quote, and move to the next system. So it would like you to enter a short description and a title for it. You have the opportunity, of course, to add any additional PDF documents or images or schematics to it. But all you need to do is a description and a little bit of detailed information for it to allow you to move to the next section. For a RFQ, it would like you to ask how many units you're looking for. So we're just going to put in 20,000 and move to the next. It asks if there's any certain certifications that you need for them to make this product. So I'm going to put ISO certification. And then again, it does ask about contacts as well. I can also mark to not show that name to respondents. So say I want Michelle Ondak to receive additional information about anyone that responds to this, but I don't want them to see my name so that they have to respond directly through the system. In our old system, you could not hide this name. And so a lot of the time, companies will just respond directly to that buyer. If that's your preference, you can show it. But if you want to force a response through the platform so you can track it all in one place, you can just click to not show that response or that name to respondents. As we move along, it gives you some dates for whenever you would like this posting to be. So you can have it start at a later date, or you can start the listing immediately. It gives you the option for 60 days from now, which I think is a really quick way to put this information in, or you can select a future date from a calendar. I would advise, we see companies sometimes want to put something up for a few days, and if it is a more difficult or hard to find item, giving it a couple of weeks at least in the system will allow more manufacturers to see it and respond. We have had, though, a manufacturer here in the Tulsa area that had a posting for just a couple of days and received a number of responses and has, then moved all of that work over to a new supplier that they found through Connex. So it doesn't have to be very long. It just gives it more opportunity for eyes to see it within the system if you give it a little more time. If you click next there, it will allow you to review all of that information and then click to create your listing. If you are ready to create it, if you see this and see, oh, I forgot something, you can just step back through the responses by clicking on the left side of the screen. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of it for now because we don't want to go too in depth on that section today, so we can get through a little more information. Moving on down this menu, we have an admin section that shows my subscriptions. I do want to show you this in case whenever you signed up, or if you have an existing account, you didn't use a free promotional code, but perhaps you signed up midway through the year and you haven't accessed it with a promotional code. This is where you can upgrade your subscription and use that promo code, or if there is not a promo code available and you would like to pay for access to the National Marketplace, you can upgrade your subscription here as well. So you would do that by just clicking upgrade. That will just give you the option for the National Manufacturers Marketplace because you already are using just the state level instance as a sponsored user. Again, if we wanted to sign up today in this demo account for that national access with the promo code we have, I would just enter CMFY 2022, or sorry, 22. Okay. And it will verify that that is the accurate one. You can check to select it and move next to the system. It will ask you to include payment details. So in this updated system, you are not going to be charged for it if you're using a promo code. It will auto charge you if you leave that subscription on after that date. You can cancel at any time as well, but this does give you access to the full system. For all of those 140,000 profiles, allows you to respond to opportunities from other national users and things like that as well. So if you're not using this free access, I do recommend that you take advantage of this promo code. Okay, so since I want to leave this demonstration account as just state level access so we can continue to use it for demos, I'm not going to move forward in that, and I'm just going to X out of it. I want to highlight this help feature. This is a new help desk feature that has been installed in the new Connex both state level instances for Connex Oklahoma, as well as the national Connex Marketplace. So if you are ever having trouble within the system, you can't access something or you see an error in the system, please do respond through this help desk system. It's just an easy way to contact us. If you don't have my email address or another staff member's email address, you can just send a help request directly through the system. We'll receive a notification, and our developers will receive a notification, and we'll be able to get in touch to help you with that issue, hopefully in a very timely manner. And then we've got about 10 minutes left. I do want to show supply chain and then check and see if we have any Q&A to answer. So we are just going to briefly look at supply chain today. That is again in our left-hand menu towards the top for our business. You will see that there is a blue bar at the top that tells you any information that you provide in here is confidential to you and the system. So it's not going to be seen by, the machine shop that's down the road from you, who your suppliers are, or who your customers are. It's only going to be seen from within your organization and by those individuals that you've assigned as users within your organization that have that certain level of access. When we were assigning roles earlier that showed an access level to see that supply chain manager role, right? Or, the profile administrator and owner will, I believe, also be able to see this. So you can add a new or view this as a visualization instead of this drop down. Because of the time, I'm not going to add a new one because it is just the same as I'll show you what one of our existing suppliers looks like. So we have gone in and added information about customers and potential suppliers, current suppliers for our Prime One demo account. Again, these are just demo opportunities. These are demo suppliers and customers that we've added in here. So you'll see for metal fabricators, some information about them. This one we have marked as a supplier for us, but you can also, that's where you'll change to say it's a supplier or a customer. You can mark them as a current supplier, or if you would like them to be a potential addition to your supply chain. So maybe you've identified a single supplier risk and you are scoping out other opportunities to have, so you don't have that single supplier anymore, you can mark that they are a potential addition and mark, what are they potentially an alternate to or an addition to. So we've marked AHA metal fabricators as a potential alternate to waste management. And you can tie them to a particular product. So when we set up our profile earlier, we saw that there was a plastic gears product on our profile. So we've tied that potential supplier directly to that product. And we've said that for us, they are a materials producer and distributor, and they work specifically with metal. On any of these, so we've put Walmart in as a buyer, as one of our customers, and said what they do, how much business we do with them, what kind of relationship we have with the organization. That information can just be added to any of these suppliers or customers, and you can add new suppliers and customers with this button at the top. If you ever want to delete or save changes, you can do that at the bottom of each individual supplier profile. I do want to make sure we click this visualization button so you see what that looks like in the system. If you have used this functionality before in the legacy system, you may remember this web. So we've got, our business in the middle, and you can move these around to your liking. We have our suppliers out to the left side and our buyers out to the right side. Because our developers heard from many users that, maybe some people are colorblind, you can change the colors of these to best meet your particular needs in the platform. And it changes all of that information for you so you can better see this. On any of these suppliers or customers, you can click directly on them, and you'll see that there is a box that pops up at the bottom that you can expand to see all of that information we looked at back on the other tab. You'll see that some of these have a red box around them, and that is there to indicate that that particular supplier or customer has some risk associated with them. You can click directly on them and expand that to see and you'll see on this one, there's no information filled out. So it's trying to let you know that you need to add some additional information. On this particular company, A-Line TDS, you can see that it has identified risks in this relationship, and that is they're a single supplier for fabrication of products. And so it's suggesting that you find an additional opportunity or an additional supplier for them. That potential supplier we had talked about on the last page is you'll see marked by having a dotted line out from the a supplier that we had said they could be an alternate to. And if you want to see an overall view of the health of any of these opportunities, you can click your company, expand that, and view which of these suppliers have risks, which is a potential, which is completely filled out, and it'll tell you what the identified risks are as well. There are a lot of different things you can do with this feature, so I am going to expand and highlight this Find Alternates for this node button, where it will search through different alternate suppliers you can use. You can filter through that. I'm going to find alternates for that A-Line TDS company. I'm going to say within 50 miles. And I'm going to mark that I'm looking for companies that match on copper. So you'll see that it narrowed that list down really greatly. To any of these, you can expand. It'll tell you that this particular company, Southern Specialties Corporation, is a match for materials for both of these current suppliers, and you can add them as a potential directly to your map from this system. We're going to dive into this in more detail on a future training because there's a lot you can do with it, but I just wanted to make sure everyone had the opportunity to see what that looks like today. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and move over to see if there are any questions in Q&A. Okay. So it looks like I don't have anything in Q&A, but I do have something in the chat. It looks like Christine Ryan has asked us, you mentioned there was a lifetime national promo code, and can that please be provided? So our national lifetime promo code was only available during the first 2 months that this platform was available whenever we launched for the state. And so that is something I'm not expecting to see again for the state of Oklahoma. However, they do from time to time offer these national access promos for a year at a time and things like that. So we do hope to see more of those. I would sign up if you haven't yet for this 1 year of free access to make sure that you are able to access that. Are there any other questions that we want to add to the chat today? Again, I will send out a recording of this after it has processed anyone that did register for the demonstration today. And we will be having more demos and go into more detail on these various features as we continue to build them out and add new functionality to the system as well. I do want to also thank, you can probably see Jeremiah Duck's name on the screen. Jer is one of our developers at the company that developed the Connex Marketplace and Connex Oklahoma. So thank him for being here today in case we had any questions that I couldn't answer for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out at connex@okalliance.com. And you can always find more information about this on our website, which is www.okalliance.com. I haven't seen any more questions come through, but I just want to thank everyone for attending today. And thank you so much. That's a kind comment. And we really look forward to seeing how we can use the system to help serve manufacturers across the state of Oklahoma and help solve some of the supply chain issues we're seeing across the state and in the nation. Thank you.